Dolphins have this reputation for being these graceful, intelligent creatures, always smiling, always friendly. And it turns out that they also like to get absolutely blitzed in their free time. Dolphins have somehow discovered that pufferfish aren't just food. They're also a recreational drug. Pufferfish are famous for two things: looking like inflatable stress balls with eyes and being ridiculously toxic. When a pufferfish gets scared, it puffs up, hence the name, turning into a spiky ball of dare not eat me. But more importantly, it releases tetrodotoxin, a chemical so potent that a single pufferfish has enough to kill 30 adult humans. That's 1,200 times more poisonous than cyanide. Logically, most animals stay far, far away from pufferfish. Dolphins, however, saw this biological death trap and thought, what if we used this to get high? Scientists have literally observed dolphins gently handling pufferfish, poking them just enough to trigger a release of tiny amounts of tetrodotoxin. The dose is small enough that it doesn't paralyze or kill them, but just enough to induce a trance-like state. Dolphins in this state have been seen floating near the surface, moving slowly, staring at their own reflections in the water. What if water is just air, but for fish? Whoa, and what if fish are just birds, but underwater? Wait. What if we're the fish and the fish are actually watching us? Can I leave, please? Shh, little dude, you're part of something bigger now. Dolphins pass the pufferfish around, taking turns. This behavior isn't random. It's not just some accidental discovery. These animals know what they're doing. This means dolphins have figured out which pufferfish produce the right effect, how much toxin is just enough without being dangerous, and how to share the experience with their pod. Scientists aren't entirely sure why they do this. Some think it's just for fun, because dolphins, as we've established, are menaces to society. Others think it might have some kind of social bonding aspect. Hey, man, want to go mess with some pufferfish after school? Hell yeah, bro. The pufferfish actually survive the whole experience. The dolphins don't eat them. And once they've had their fun, they just let the fish go. All right, boys, we had our fun. Let him go. You sure? He knows too much. Nah, let him swim. Let him tell the others what he saw. You guys are insane. I thought I was done for. Nah, kid, we ain't monsters. This is just business. Now swim along, spread the word. The family appreciates good service. Mandrills are already some of the most chaotic animals in the jungle. These guys look like someone let a toddler design them. Bright blue and red faces, golden beards, and an attitude that says, I run this place. They're the largest monkeys on the planet, known for being aggressive, social, and weirdly obsessed with psychedelic plants, specifically iboga. Iboga is a shrub native to Central Africa, and it contains ibogaine, a powerful psychoactive compound. Humans have used it for centuries in traditional medicine and spiritual rituals because it messes with your brain chemistry in a way that can trigger hallucinations, intense dreams, and even deep emotional introspection. And mandrills love this stuff. Scientists have noticed that male mandrills will actively seek out iboga roots, dig them up, and eat them, especially before a fight. Why would a monkey deliberately get high before throwing hands? Turns out ibogaine messes with pain perception, making them feel less pain and giving them this crazy trance-like focus. All right, I'm about to challenge Steve for dominance. Shouldn't you, warm up first? Nah, I'm gonna dig and eat a hallucinogenic root instead. I feel like this is a very bad idea.
It is time.
This isn't just about getting high. Scientists believe mandrills might actually be self-medicating, because ibogaine doesn't just cause hallucinations, it also has anti-parasitic properties. So while these guys are out there getting spiritually enlightened, they're also killing off intestinal worms and other parasites that might be messing with their health. Bees, the tiny, hard-working pollinators that keep the world running. Without them, we'd lose a huge chunk of our food supply. These fuzzy little overachievers have a party side. Have you ever seen a drunk bee? Well, let me tell you, it's hilarious. And it all starts with fermented nectar. Nectar is that sweet, sugary liquid inside flowers that bees collect to make honey. When nectar sits for a while, especially in warm, humid conditions, it can ferment due to naturally occurring yeasts. And when sugar ferments, alcohol happens. Some bees are out here chugging nature's jungle juice. Bees have a very high metabolism. Their tiny bodies process food fast because they need constant energy for all that flying, buzzing, and aggressive dive bombing of anyone who gets too close to their flowers. When they accidentally sip on fermented nectar, that carefully calibrated fuel system goes off the rails. Scientists have observed bees wobbling mid-flight, crashing into flowers, even straight up falling out of the air like tiny fuzzy helicopters, losing control. It's adorable and kind of sad at the same time. Hey, I think Greg's had too much nectar. He just tried to pollinate a rock. Yeah, he's gone. Bees don't just work alone. They belong to a highly organized colony, and in these colonies, they do not tolerate drunken behavior. A bee that comes back to the hive visibly intoxicated might get stopped by the bouncers, the guard bees, who physically block the entrance. Sir, have you been drinking?
No, not a sip.
Fly in a straight line. Yeah, that's what I thought. Get out of here. And if the drunken bee keeps trying, the guards might shove it away or even wrestle it to the ground to keep it from stumbling inside and causing chaos. Scientists believe this is because a drunk bee could mess up the entire hive, spreading bad directions to food sources, disrupting communication. Bees can actually develop a tolerance to alcohol. Scientists have done experiments where they exposed bees to small amounts of ethanol, the stuff that makes alcohol, well, alcohol, and over time, some bees started handling their liquor better. This does not happen often. Most bees stick to regular non-alcoholic nectar because they actually need to function. Ants are usually all about hard work, discipline, and aggressively ruining picnics. But sometimes they just want to get a little buzzed, and for that, they have millipedes as dealers. Millipedes aren't exactly friendly. They don't bite, they don't sting, but if you mess with them, they have one very nasty defense move. Instead of fighting back, they release toxic chemicals that most predators find absolutely disgusting. We're talking about a mix of benzoyl cyanide, alkaloids, and quinones, which, to put it simply, is nature's version of pepper spray mixed with nail polish remover. Most animals take one sniff and immediately regret their life choices. We have been compromised. I repeat, this is not a drill. Tango down. I need a beak rinse. Mouth contaminated. Tell my family I love them. Who the hell is he talking to? But ants are built different. Instead of running away, ants actually love these toxins. So much so that when they find a millipede, they don't even try to eat it. Instead, they start aggressively rubbing themselves all over it, like some kind of weird chemical spa treatment. Scientists call this behavior anting, which is usually when birds rub insects on their feathers for protection. Seriously, why are you like this? Everyone else runs away. Everyone else is missing out, my guy. Think of it like a business deal. You freak out, we smell amazing, and nobody gets eaten. I hate this arrangement. You see? But it works. These chemicals don't just act as an insect repellent, they also contain mild narcotic properties. It's actually useful. Those same toxins that make them feel a little loopy also protect them from parasites. Scientists believe that the ants are basically microdosing these chemicals to keep mites and fungi from infesting their nests. Ants do this in moderation. Too much of the toxin can be deadly, so they've somehow figured out the exact amount they need to get that perfect mix of pest control and a little buzz. Bighorn sheep. These mountain goats on steroids spend most of their time doing impressive acrobatics on near vertical cliffs, but when they're not defying death, they're actively seeking out one very specific thing, a particular type of narcotic lichen. Lichens are those weird, crusty plant fungus hybrids that cling to rocks. There's a species of lichen that grows in remote areas of the mountains, and it contains mild hallucinogenic compounds. It messes with the central nervous system. Most animals don't care about them. But the bighorn sheep care a lot, because these fluffy daredevils have a drug problem. They have perfectly good food all around them. Grasses, shrubs, normal sheep things. But they will travel miles and risk falling off a cliff just to get their lichen fix. Bro, I can smell it. It's up there. Dude, that's like a 90-degree incline. Then start climbing. We didn't come all this way to be quitters. The level of determination these sheep have for getting high is borderline concerning. Once they reach the stash, the sheep don't just nibble. They aggressively scrape the rock with their teeth, grinding away to get every last particle of the lichen and obsessively licking rocks for hours. Sheep act strange after eating this stuff. Some get wobbly, staring off into the distance like they just remembered a deeply embarrassing moment from 5 years ago. Others start behaving erratically, running around or shaking their heads. Scientists aren't totally sure why they do this. One theory is that the lichen might help with parasites, acting like a natural detox. Another theory is that they just like being high. And honestly, that makes sense. Bighorn sheep are already some of the most reckless animals in nature. They fight by slamming their heads together at full force, literally giving themselves concussions for fun. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, where everything either wants to eat you, poison you, or just make your life generally inconvenient, jaguars found an interesting psychedelic. See, Jaguars have a habit of seeking out a very specific vine called Banisteriopsis caapi, which is one of the key ingredients in ayahuasca. The same ayahuasca that humans brew into a hallucinogenic tea for spiritual journeys and intense self-reflection. Banisteriopsis caapi contains harmala alkaloids, which act as monoamine oxidase inhibitors, MAOIs. They enhance the effects of other psychoactive substances by stopping the body from breaking them down too quickly. In humans, this leads to hallucinations, altered perception, and deep introspective trips. After munching on the vine, the big cats start acting very un-jaguar-like. Normally, jaguars are top-tier predators, all stealth and power, moving like a shadow with murder on its mind. But after some quality time with Banisteriopsis caapi, suddenly they're rolling around on the forest floor, staring into the distance like they just unlocked the meaning of life. Look at my paws! They've been attached to me this whole time. This is so crazy! Some researchers believe jaguars do this to enhance their senses, possibly improving their hunting skills, because Banisteriopsis caapi has compounds that can heighten visual perception, which, in theory, could make spotting prey easier. Others think the jaguars are just getting high for fun. Humans might have learned about ayahuasca from jaguars. Indigenous tribes in the Amazon have used ayahuasca for centuries in spiritual ceremonies, but no one really knows how they figured it out. There are thousands of plant species in the rainforest, and you need two specific ones to make ayahuasca work. Banisteriopsis caapi, the MAOI, and a DMT-containing plant, like Psychotria viridis. That's not exactly something you just stumble upon by accident. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching.